Stuart, would you speak about deepening one's commitment to their inner work?
When I speak about what?
Deepening my commitment to my inner work.
I mean, without that commitment, there's no way of doing inner work. I mean, look, you became a chiropractor. You had to commit yourself to going through years of classes and having made that commitment enabled you to become a chiropractor. I mean, look, the whole world is that way. You want to, graduate from college, you got to make a commitment to do it. You want to succeed at a job, a marriage, a relationship, you've got to make a commitment to do it. And commitment is not just lip service commitment. You really have to do it by your actions, how you approach your meditation. Is it a priority in your life, or is this something you do because it kind of therapeutically gets you feeling a little better? But a commitment really goes beyond lip service. It has to do with one's actions. It has to do with changing one's karma, one's approach to the world, how one acts in the world. Because how else do you succeed, in life? I mean, years ago, I had to make a serious commitment to being in business. I had no other way to support myself. I didn't want to drive a taxi cab around New York. And that commitment for 30 years produced a successful business. And it's everything. It's not just meditation. It's whatever you do in your life. You want to paint, you got to commit yourself to learning how to do it, to mastering canvas and, paint and watercolor and all the things that are involved in creating a work of art. So it's not just meditation, it's really whatever we decide to do will never work, really work, unless we commit ourselves. And committing ourselves means we really have to surrender a lot of stuff. You got to surrender stuff to be in this class. Understand there's a million plans. You can be in the movies, out at dinner, taking a stroll through the park, rather than, okay, between 7:30 and 8:30, I will attend a meditation class because in that class, I can get the energy that can help me build an inner life, a spiritual life. You want to be a nurse, you got to commit yourself to going to school, to getting a degree, to learning the craft. Anything. I mean, it really is, it can go on forever, this talk, because it really has to do with anything we want to do in life. I mean, you played in orchestras, you played French horn in orchestra. You had to commit to learn how to play the instrument, then you had to commit to life in an orchestra, which I'm sure wasn't easy, you know. You understand? I mean, there's always obstacles and there are things that interfere with commitments. If we feel depressed, we feel unhappy, we feel this, and I can't come. It's a time when a person should come. Learn how to master depression, learn how to master unhappiness, learn how to master insecurity. That takes commitment. The others, insecurity doesn't take commitment. Just comes up because we haven't built a system strong enough to turn it around. Commitment is a very good word, but it can't just be a word. It has to be one's actions, how we live our lives. I had to commit myself many years ago to my teacher, Rudy. He told me to do things that I thought were so outrageous. And then I would go and turn to Nityananda, sit and meditate with him, and he would come, his astral being would come and say, well, so what? Do what he's asking you to do. And it always turned out to be something miraculous. Always managed to change my life. It's hard. I understand that commitment is a very difficult. That's why most marriages don't work. People don't really make commitments to grow enough in their life to support the marriage, the children, all the responsibilities that come with people coupling and being together and living together. In order to do these things, you have to grow inside. You can't look back at the day you were married or the day you graduated from college. Wasn't that wonderful? And 20 years later, all you're doing is fighting with your husband or wife. I mean, it's commitment to build a system inside that is strong enough to truly function in this world on the highest level of what it means to be human. Happy, with joy, with love, compassion, with consciousness.
Hmm.
Does anyone else have a question?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Pat.
Can I ask the question?
Absolutely.
Anya, I'm new to this meditation. I wanted to ask you what is the difference between this meditation and, for example, meditation on the breath? Is it different effects? I'm just very new. I just don't know anything. So I appreciate the answer.
I don't know the difference. I really don't. I can't tell you the difference between this and transcendental meditation or, Osho meditation. I don't know. I don't do that. I do this. And I stopped doing all these other things because only one reason. It's the first thing I found that really worked for me, that really, you know, taught me how to go so deep inside myself that I could transform all the things inside me that were keeping me from having a spiritual life. And when I found this meditation, I said, I no longer was searching for, you know, some way to do it. I found a way to do it. So I don't know, and I'm not the one to talk about other people's meditations. I just don't know. I don't stop people from doing all these things. I mean, I'm not in competition with anybody, but I'm the wrong person to ask the difference between this and another meditation. I know what this does, and I know how profoundly it works. Because I remember myself when I was 25 years old, what I was like. And God bless the world, what I was like then, you know? And it was only through this meditation that my entire inner life changed. And my teacher basically saved my life. There's no way I'd be alive today. And I had tried hatha yoga. I tried, I used to go and chant Hare Krishna, when I was younger. I used to go 2 days a week and sit there and chant Hare Krishna. Anything I would try to do in order to get a little peace and quiet in myself. And the only time I ever found that it worked was when I met Rudy and he showed me this double breathing exercise. And from day one, it began to work. I couldn't believe it. I said, this is a miracle. And boy, did I commit myself to have found a miracle, because I knew how crazy I was pre-Rudy and where I was going with that Stuart that lived then, and it wasn't to a very good place. So I committed myself to something that was working for me.
Mm.
And I don't know about these other things. I used to teach hatha yoga, and I know that it certainly, certainly not the power, the depth, the inner uh, development that this Kundalini practice brings about is very good for physical well-being. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's very good to do those things. So I don't know. I wish I could tell you, but I don't know. People always ask me, how is this different than transcendental meditation? I don't know. I've never done transcendental meditation. Go do it and tell me. I'm open. I'm all ears. I mean, there are other people that supposedly teach Rudy's work, and I'm sure what I do is different than what they do. Very different than what they do. But I don't know what they do because I don't even want to know what they do. I made a commitment to Rudy to truly do his work as purely and as deeply as I can possibly do it, to teach it the way I learned it. It saved my life. I'm not going to go off into tangents when I know something can save somebody's life if they do it. So being new here is very good because it really will open you to a way of practicing on yourself. And I can honestly tell you, after almost close to 50 years of doing this, I don't understand it. The only thing I know is that it works. And that is my understanding. Getting centered below the navel, developing chi, building strength and power inside yourself, opening your heart, quieting the throat, opening the throat chakra, communication, interaction with life, quieting the mind. All of these things work. And that is the essence of this meditation. Mastering sexual energy. But the amazing thing about this practice is that we do the same exercise, all of us, but for each person that does it, it works differently because each person is unique. Each person is their own self. They have a totally unique chemistry. Their karma is unique. Their life is unique. Religions are unique. How they were raised is unique. So what it does is it helps everybody that does it or really commits to it to open to the profoundest part of their own uniqueness. Not to be like Stuart or Rudy or anybody, but to find their own unique connection with God. All it does provides the fuel to find one's uniqueness. It's just fuel, I tell you, it's like a filling station, this place. You come to fill your tank. You need gas. You need Shakti to run your tanks. And then each person is different. Wanting similar things. What do we want? We want to be happy. We want to love. We want to have joy in our lives. So the heart opens, but the joy comes differently to every human being. And I think that is wonderful. I wouldn't want to see clones of myself sitting. Does anyone else? I hope that's clear on you. I hope it's clear.
Can I ask one more question?
course.
Thank you so much. You said so from the day one, you felt it's working and you know that it's and it opened you up to see the steward that it was. Like, did it open you up to see like your behaviors, your patterns that stands on your way that close you from God? And how did you know it's working? Is it a feeling of calmness
Well,
that you experienced or something?
from day one on, and everybody, I learned that I had a long path to travel in order to attain my connection with God. I began to see all the obstacles, the problems, the insecurities, that made me live my life the way I did. And I said, boy, this is going to be a job to fix me. But I had the tools to do it. And I knew I didn't want to go back to that old me. That's from day one. Not that I got fixed on day one. Oh, it was 20 years it took, 10 years it took to begin to build that system inside myself that truly was able to transform blocks, the obstacles, into an open heart, into love, into joy, into really the highest levels of my own humanity. So from day one, I said, my God, this is going to be an incredible job, Stuart, to do this. But I knew I couldn't go back to the old me. I knew that from day one. I had to move forward and find every obstacle open and build a connection between myself and higher energy in the universe. I mean, that was from day one. And it's still today. There's still blocks and tensions. I mean, look, I always believe that a saint, in order to be spiritually enlightened, has to surrender their sainthood. You got to surrender everything.
Mm.
Remember in Kathmandu, there was a guy at Pashupatinath. He had a big sign on his door, Saint. It used to crack me up. I wanted to knock on his door and say, look, you got to surrender your sainthood if you want to be enlightened. You see the guy smoking Ganga and he became a saint, you know? It was unbelievable.
Mm.
Does anyone else have a question I would like to ask? I have a picture here of myself right here on the right here, sitting with 3 or 4 Nagababas in Pashupatinath with their hair draped all over me, big smiles on their face. It was really something to see those people and, the wonderment of how people live, it's extraordinary. It's a miracle how so much in life as is there to teach us about the different ways that people live. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, there will be meditation on Wednesday evening. God bless you all. Thank you. I mean, your presence, it just is kind of a miracle for me. And I just have just a deep gratitude to each and every one of you. So God bless you all and, take it with you. Don't leave it in Zoom, Take the energy, take the teachings, take the fact that Rudy and Nityananda come through me and do all this teaching and take it with you and make it part of your life. Let it guide your life. So thanks. And I hope to be seeing everybody on Wednesday.
Night, Stuart. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Stuart.
Very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Stuart.